Chucksaw! What up, you guys? It's Blackwing 2040. Welcome to another Super Sentai review. And today's review is going to be on 1999's Kyukyu Sentai GoGoV. I love doing that. This show, oh my gosh. If you guys didn't know, this show is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. And it just dawned on me while I was doing my rewatch of the show that it was turning 25 years. And I totally just... This show is amazing. It is a lot better, so much better on rewatch. I enjoyed it the first time I watched it, and rewatching it a second time, it was amazing. Even to the point where I got to the finale of the show, I was tearing up so much because it's just that good. This is the second family Sentai team of Rangers, meaning like all the Rangers in this team are all related to each other. And this is the second season that's ever done this. The first season to do this was 5-man. But, oh my gosh, the family dynamic of these characters, plus also the family dynamic of the villains who are also of a family, it goes so well. And I loved everything about this show. Now, let's, like I always do, let's go into things, talking about the plot synopsis. So, it goes a little something like this. Grand Dean has been waiting for the day of resurrection, the day when the planets are all in alignment of the Grand Cross. Her children descend to the earth to make it a realm of darkness for her. 10 years prior, Professor Tatsumi of the Tatsumi Disaster Prevention Institute predicted this event, but nobody believed him. He left his family so he can secretly develop and construct the rescue system. Now, in 1999, Professor Tatsumi appears again to give the means to save the world to his children. So, just synopsis is very simple, short, and sweet, and to the point. Exactly what that is. And man, I was just blown away by of the show on rewatch. It was just, again, it's just that good. So like how I always do, let's talk about the theme song. The theme song is a bop. It is a really good bop. It's very heroic. Just, it fits the theme of the show perfectly. It is so good. Really, really good. If you ever listen to the GoGoV theme, you just feel like a burst of like inspiration and hope, and just like, even just for the constant means to just salute just for the heck of it, because who doesn't enjoy that theme song? It's really great. The theme song's raw for sure. Now on to the suits. The suits are really cool. I like the pattern of the spandex of the suits, and I don't know why, but this is just dawning onto me now. But I like how each of the helmets, the visors, are shaped as badges. I don't know why it's dawning on me now that I'm just realizing, oh, wait a minute, that's supposed to be a badge on the helmet. But it's just a different badge size and shape for each of the helmets, which is really, really cool. And also the cool thing is, you can, when you get a close-up shot of the Rangers in their helmets, and this happens a lot of the times in the show, you could actually see them. You can see the actors' faces. They have like a mouthpiece that's kind of like a mask that, you know, gives them air to breathe. And it also has some LED lightings within the helmet as well. So that's a very cool aesthetic design. Very interesting. Wish we could get something like that again in Sentai. Who knows? We'll never know, but it's cool. So, as I always do, let's move on talking about these heroes. So, the good thing is about these Rangers, with their color lineup, it goes from oldest to youngest, which makes it easier. And they also have number designation, which is also cool. I love it when they do that. So first up is our Red Ranger, Matsuri. Go Red. Matsuri, oh my gosh, he is an amazing Red Ranger. Not just for being a Red Ranger, but he's an amazing big brother. The reason why I say this, he can be very hot-headed. He was very, very hot-headed in the beginning. But overall, as the show progresses, he goes through so much development. Meaning, because when their father disappeared, this also is a very serious plot point as well. But I'm going to get to that when I talk about their father as well. But when it came to the siblings, the overall dynamic, it was always Matsuri keeping the family together, keeping them knit, keeping them tight, and united as one. That's one thing I really enjoyed, and just his character really did a phenomenal job with this. And it's just the energy that he has of also not just being a ranger, but also being a fireman. He is very serious about his work, from just having so much spirit, completing the job, make sure everybody is rescued because all the individuals, all the Rangers on the scene, they all have a form of rescue occupation, which is amazing. They practically all work together on the field, on the battlefield, and on the field of rescuing, which is amazing. Matsuri, he's up there as a great Red Ranger. You don't really hear people talk about him that much, which is very interesting, but he is great nonetheless. Next up is Nagare, Go Blue. Nagare is the brains of the team and also the science expert for the fire department. He's the one that develops some of the weapons for the team as well. He is very opposite from his older brother. He's more laid back. He's more chill, calm-headed. And I really like his character. I really, really do like his character. And I feel like he didn't get much, but he still got much as it is. When it wasn't like a focus episode focusing on like him, you could see the dynamic between himself and his other siblings. That was the most beautiful thing I liked about Nagare. And again, he also has much of a rivalry with one of the villains who I'm going to get to later on as I'm going through these character analyzations. But Nagare, he's definitely underrated Blue Ranger. Very underrated Blue Ranger. You don't really hear much about him. I feel like this whole team is underrated as a whole. All right, next up is Go Green. Sho is the aerial Air Force pilot, meaning he's the one that gives the aerial support for the rescue team. And he also was kind of hot-headed as well, but he can be silly at times, somewhat silly. So he has his moments where he's silly, but there are moments where he's very serious as well. I like his character. Sho is really, really great. I feel like he has more of a dynamic with Nagare and Matsuri, with him being the oldest, with Matsuri and Nagare being his older siblings, and Sho is the middle child of the family. He's like really right there, smack dab in the middle. So I feel like he connects more to his two older brothers than he does with his younger siblings. But he's still a great character overall. I do like his energy. I enjoy his character very, very much. Next is Daimon, Go Yellow. Daimon is a police officer. He's the youngest male in the family. So he has a lot to, look up to with his older brothers. He can be very energetic sometimes. He's kind of like he has more of a connection with his sister Matsuri, who I'm going to get to later on, than he does with his older siblings. But I feel like his relationship with Matsuri, with them being the youngest of the family, is so close is because they're right there next to each other in age. And he's a very, very cool Yellow Ranger. I know you don't really hear me say much about the Yellow Rangers in Sentai, but Daimon is a really, really good Yellow Ranger. And I feel as though he didn't get much focus episodes, but again, when this show lacks in focus episodes for each individual character, it makes up for like the family dynamic as a whole. Like I said, I like that very much. But Daimon is a really, really good Yellow Ranger. Not really, he's a lot better than Hikaru from Ginga Man. Way better than Hikaru. I don't find Daimon to be like that over the top and annoying to me, in my opinion. And lastly is Matsuri, Go Pink. Now, Matsuri, again, being the youngest of the family, she's the baby of the group. She has, again, a more stronger connection with Daimon. And also, she's the only one in the family that didn't really overreact when their father came back into the fold to give them the rescue system. She was the only one that was more accepting of their father coming back into their lives than her brothers, who are basically shunning their father for being away for 10 years and being gone for so long. But that's the one thing that makes her, interesting, especially with her being the only female in the team. And she's really great. I love her character. I love her energy. She's just an amazing Pink Ranger as a whole. And she's also a medic. She's the medic of the team, which is very, very cool. So now let's get on to supporting characters. There's one supporting character I want to talk about first. This character is not necessarily a ranger for this matter, because GoGoV has no six rangers whatsoever. So GoGoV had this special episode called Sudden Shock, A New Warrior. This character's name is Zeke. Zeke if you look at his picture, he is played by the same actor who played Ryu Ranger from Die Ranger, which is really cool. So Zeke was a one-off character. He only appeared in a, like an extended episode special where a monster came to Earth and he was hunting him, and he came into conflict with the GoGo 5. But one of the characters, like one of the supporting characters of GoGo 5, reminded Zeke of one of his comrades back on his home planet. Zeke didn't make it to the end of that special, though. He actually dies, unfortunately. But he's very brash, he's very headstrong, and he does clash with Matsuri a lot in that special episode. But what he learned from the GoGo 5 is what he learned from their supporting castmate, who I'm going to get to next. And I found him pretty cool. I like the suit design. The suit design is really cool. And for a one-off character, it was very interesting to see. And it felt great to see Ryu Ranger's actor come back in Sentai in some shape or form. That was what I found really cool. Now, the next supporting character is Kiyoko. Kiyoko is a good friend of the entire GoGo 5. And for some reason, as I was rewatching this show, there was a certain point in the show where she just disappears. And she doesn't come back until like probably the final 10 episodes of the show. And I'm like, wait a minute, where did she disappear to? Heck, she's not even in the team-up movie for GoGo 5 versus Gingaman, which I found very surprising. But overall, regardless of appearances, she has very strong interactions with each of the teammates, especially Professor Tatsumi, who he kind of takes her under her wing. I mean, he takes her under his wing to help around the place and everything else like that. And, she functions very well. She's not the overly annoying supporting character that sometimes appears in Sentai. She's just that good. That's all I can say. No complaints about Kiyoko whatsoever. Now, the next character is the father, Professor Tatsumi. Him being the mentor of the team and their father, he has a very heavy developmental arc throughout the entire show. From when he first showed up in the first episode and his children just straight up shunning him, saying, "Where have you been for 10 years? Why are you back in our lives now? Where were you when we needed you?" And this whole show is basically a developmental arc for him, and also in a way to make up for the last 10 years of being out of his children's lives. From creating the rescue system, for developing many tools and weaponry for his children to help them defend the Earth, he had a lot to do. Of course, children are not going to forgive their parents right then and there after being gone for 10 whole years in their life. It took a lot. But overall, throughout the entire show, as the show progresses, Matsuri and the rest of his siblings start to realize what their father means to them. And even though he was gone for those 10 years, they all still love him equally, and he still loves his children just as much. And also, the heavy story beat is that their mother was barely in the show. She only showed up in like 4 episodes. However, when he went missing, the children's mother, her name is Ritsuko. I might as well talk about her. She went to go look for him, but she not died. She got caught in a plane crash, and she was in a coma for 7 years. 7 years in a coma. And so throughout all that time, the children think that their father forgot about their mother, but in actuality, he didn't. He still cared about his wife very much. And then when it came time in the finale of the show, where Ritsuko woke up from her coma, and she got picked up from the hospital, and she reunited with her children, and just seeing Professor Tatsumi show his children, like, "Children, your mother is here." It was so beautiful. I was tearing up because, oh my gosh, just to see the children reunite with their mother, and Professor Tatsumi telling his wife, "This is our oldest son. He was the one taking care of our kids by himself while I was gone." It's just, again, the family dynamic is so beautiful. Even with the mother not being around in the show for that much, it was still beautiful. And I love that so much. I know I kind of talked about Professor Tatsumi for a while, but it hits. It definitely hits. Now, the next supporting character is Mint. Think of Mint as like the Alpha 5 of GoGo 5. He's a robotic assistant for Professor Tatsumi. He basically alerts the Rangers of saying, "Hey, a monster's attacking the city, head out there. That's all Mint really does. No much of a development thing or anything. Of course, Mint is basically, you know, that mascot character for the show, which is fine. Now, let's talk about these villains. Now, like I said, the villains are the Saima clan, and they're also a family. So let's start off with the oldest sibling, Zilfiza. Zilfiza really was a force to be reckoned with, to the point where he had a huge love for his younger brother and younger sister. Not his younger brother, who I'm going to get to later on, but Zilfiza had a very strong compass to impress his mother, to make sure the Earth was prepared for her return, and he was always down hard to impress and make sure the Earth was prepared for their mother's return. But when it came time to when he found out that he was just being used as a pawn, he got pissed off at that. So I like the turnaround in character for him to realize that I did all this for my mother and she's just going to use me as a puppet. I will not be my mother's puppet anymore. So that was a really cool story development beat that I really got to see in Zilfiza's character. The next villain is Cabala, who is the second oldest of the Saima clan. I feel like Cabala didn't do much. He really didn't do much. He does have his faction of monsters, but I feel like as a villain, he really did not do much, like at all. Sure, there would be some moments where he would go onto the battlefield and fight the Rangers from time to time, but that's about it. He didn't really get much at all. None whatsoever. Now, the third member of the Saima family, Deena. She is the only woman of the family, the only female child. She has a rivalry with Nagare. So anytime when it's a Nagare-focused episode and both of their paths kind of collide, Nagare is going to do whatever it takes to take him down. And she wants to embarrass Nagare so much. What I found very interesting with her character, because, again, it's been a while since I watched GoGoV 5, when it came to the point where she wanted to bring Zilfiza back, she really loved her older brother so much. And so did Cabala. Cabala loved Zilfiza as well. But she really had a burning admiration for her older sibling. And to the point where she even sacrificed herself so that way he can live. I tell you, the family dynamic between these two factions, it's incredible, and it makes for good storytelling. And I find Deena very interesting. She's also a master of disguise, so that is also a good piece of material to use for the show, for her character. That was very interesting. And the youngest of the Saima family, Salam Menz. So how Salam Menz get into this whole storyline? He starts off as an infant. As a little infant, they called him Drop. So when he got older, after Zilfiza got destroyed, Zilfiza's power got transferred to Salam Menz, and he fully matured into a grown Saima monster and general. So when Salam Menz was running the show, he became Grandine's golden boy. Like, he always wanted to impress his mother, and to the point where Grandine was favoring Salam Menz over the other siblings. So, you know, when a parent favors one child over the others are going to get pissed off. So I like the rivalry that he had with his siblings. It was so cool. He also kind of has a little bit of a rivalry with Matsuri in the show, but that's pretty much, it doesn't really go there as much, but it's kind of a cool stint to have. Now, the next villain I want to talk about is Pierre. Pierre is the butler of the Saima family. He's the one that makes the monsters grow. He's the one that he summons the monsters. So basically, the Saima have these cards. They toss it into like this, I guess you could say like an abyss, and Pierre uses his magic to resurrect the monsters and bring them to the world. That's mainly what he does. He's the one that took care of Salam Menz when he was just an infant, and yeah, that's basically all Pierre is. He's a very interesting character. That's what I find interesting. And he's not really one for betrayal, but when Salam Menz was running the show, he was a big follower of Salam Menz, which was very interesting. How he wasn't even following any of the other Saima clan. Like, he wasn't really like, he didn't favor any like Deena or Cabala. He just mainly was close to Salam Menz because, like, you know, because he was raising him as a child. So I guess so. That's how it is. Now, the final villain Grandine, this villain, this woman, she does not give a crap about her family whatsoever. She only sees her children as a means to an end. That's all she is. When it came to the point where she was resurrected, she was happy to see her kids again, but she wanted them to like, yo, I want you guys to destroy this planet so I can make my grand return. And every time one of them failed, she would get pissed off. Countless times, failure after failure after failure. Even to a point when Salam Menz went to the underworld to try to find a way to get a power boost. She left them in there. She said, you stay down there. You're not coming back. She did not care about her kids whatsoever. She is cruel. She is vicious. She don't give a crap. Ooh, just grimy. I don't know if she ain't a villain, then I don't know what is. Because, oh my gosh, she is up there as one of the best Sentai villains ever. I'm telling you, she beats even Bandora from Zyuranger. And you know that's true. But, man, all I could say is that's all the characters in the show. Folks, GoGo 5, I want to put it in GOAT. I wouldn't say it is a GOAT season. It is like high raw, but like right low tier GOAT level. But it's like right there in between GOAT and raw. But it is such a good show. I highly recommend you guys should check it out. You guys would love this show for sure. And man, I was just in awe with rewatching the show. So after all that being said, happy 25th anniversary to Kyukyu Sentai GoGoV. In the comment section below, what did you think of GoGoV 5? Did you think it was good? Did you think it was bad? Are you in between on it? Let me know in the comment section below. And remember to be civil in the comments. I'll also leave a link in the description of where you could purchase GoGoV 5 on DVD because it is available to watch thanks to Shout Factory. And with that being said, that will be... We're not done with the 90 Sentai yet because we have one more 90 Sentai show for me to review, and that is Kyukyu Sentai 5-Man, which came out in 1990 at the start of the 90s. The reason why I'm doing 5-Man before I go on to Time Rangers is because I did all these 90 Sentai up to this point. I might as well just do all of them. So I figured, let me just end off with 5-Man, and then after 5-Man, then we're jumping 2000s with Time Ranger, and I'm going to be adding Kamen Rider to the timeline of shows that I'll be reviewing as well. So hope you guys look forward to that in the coming months. And of course, there'll be a review of Gingaman, GoGo 5 versus Gingaman. That'll be next as well. But that's all I got to say about this review. I hope you guys had a great time watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to be notified. Don't forget to follow me on all my socials. And as always, I am Vengeance. I am Darkness. I am Blackwing. Stay golden.